Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. My guests today are a beautiful couple who have had quite an amazing story in coming together. He is a retired police officer and studied to be a science of mind practitioner over 20 years ago. And she is a sculptor, uses multimedia in film and dance, and is also a marriage and family therapist. Please welcome to the show, Noel and Hani Brooks. Hello, hello, and welcome. It is so good to have both of you, truly.
It's good being here.
Thank you, and thank you. And I wanted to really have you on, especially at this time. You know, we're looking, it's February, lots of people are thinking about Valentine's and going through quite a bit of things about either their own relationships that are working or are not. Mm-hmm. And the two of you have really had quite a story in coming together. So I wanted people to hear about each of you and how you did come together. So Noel, tell us a little bit about where you were right when you were about to encounter Hani.
Well, our journey together began in December, actually on Christmas Day in December, on Christmas Day
Yes.
in 2004.
Okay.
At that time, I had been retired for a very short period of time and starting to adjust to that. I had been married, actually married a second time.
Okay.
I had been divorced for a short period of time.
Okay.
And I had been desiring a new relationship for probably about 10 years.
Wow. Talk about waiting and having patience, huh?
Yes. It took patience at the beginning, but because of my training as a practitioner, I knew that waiting was just part of the process sometimes.
Yes, yes.
And I can honestly say that even though it was a period of over 10 years, I wasn't struggling with it. I was just enjoying my life as best I could.
Beautiful.
As a single man. I was raising my son. I have a 22-year-old son.
Wonderful.
So I was very much involved in raising him. And between that and work, I had very little time actually for a relationship, which actually made it a little easier.
Yes. And you have another child as well, yes?
I have two daughters by my first marriage.
Okay.
And to get to our journey that together, on Christmas Day, I had made a decision not to attend a party that my girlfriend at the time
Keywords.
was giving.
Right.
And even though I had been up all night, because I had followed a long established tradition of spending Christmas Eve with my daughter and my grandchildren. And there was a party even before that. So I had almost no sleep. And as I said, I had decided that I was going to make an excuse and miss the Christmas party on Christmas Day.
Okay.
And even though I was extremely exhausted, I had driven from San Bernardino to Los Angeles, to Santa Clarita, and back home to West LA.
Wow.
And so that was going to be my excuse.
Tired from driving too much already.
Yes, I knew that she would be upset, but she would have to understand.
Right.
And then something out of the ordinary happened for me. I was actually preparing to go to bed, and I found myself, instead of going to bed, getting dressed and going to the party. I didn't know why I changed my mind so suddenly. But I felt prompted to go to the party, even though I was exhausted.
Interesting, just like that.
Yes.
Beautiful. We love sometimes how that happens.
Yes, I particularly love those kinds of experiences.
And so
I had no idea why I was arriving at this party until I met Hani. And there was something about the sound of her voice that really resonated for me.
Yes.
Much of the time while we were at the party together, she seemed to be out of my view, but I picked up her voice. And there was something about her voice that
Yes.
was attractive to me. The complication was, it appeared that she had been brought to the party by another man.
Whoopsie. And this was the party that was your girlfriend's
That
party
my
at the time.
Girlfriend.
So we've already got quite a nice little complication going on there, huh?
Yes. But after meeting her, she stayed on my mind, and I knew that I was going to have to work out some way of connecting with her.
Yeah, you got boyfriends and girlfriends to go through, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But fortunately for me, I knew that I could rely on openness and honesty. So I called my girlfriend at the time and told her that I would like to meet Hani.
Just like that.
Yes.
Wow. And what did she say?
She asked, why did I want to meet her?
Yeah, that would be a good question, right?
I told her I wasn't certain, but that I really wanted to meet her. And then she told me that she didn't actually know Hani, that she had only met Hani that day also. And she also didn't know what Hani's relationship was with the man that she was there with.
Okay.
And she told me I would have to work that out on my own. And so I asked for the man's phone number, and decided that in spite of the challenge,
Yes.
that I would call him and do the same thing with him that I had done with my girlfriend, just to ask him for Hani's phone number.
And?
He too was puzzled as to why I was asking for her number. I told him the same thing, that I didn't really know for sure why,
Wow.
but that I really wanted to talk to her.
I love that. I love that. Because that's just pure honesty. I
Yes.
don't know why, but this is what I really want. And
Yes.
just asking for it.
Yes.
Beautiful. And you got her number?
And he
From
wasn't
him?
comfortable giving me her number, but he said he would give her my phone number. And he didn't know if she would respond or
Right,
not, but
right.
he would honor my request.
Wow.
And
It's pretty
and
amazing.
So he apparently gave her my phone number, and in a matter of minutes, she called.
I love that. I love that. And when we come right back, we're going to now hear the other side of the story. So come right back and hear Hani's side.
This episode was sponsored by Soul Purpose Branding. Put your soul into your brand. Get your business on purpose. With Sabine Messner, the wizard of Soul Purpose Branding. soulpurposebranding.com.
Hello, everyone, and we are back with Noel and Hani, hearing their story of how they came together. We just heard one side, and now we hear the other. So, Hani, tell us your side.
So, I think it's important to give a little bit of background in terms, just to help people out there that are trying to create an opening for a relationship.
I like
The
that.
space I was in was that prior to meeting Noel, I was dating after also a long. I also was married twice. I was also raising a young daughter,
Interesting.
and I really wanted a relationship. And when I was dating, I was going from I wasn't as patient as Noel was. I was more action oriented.
So you were actively seeking.
I was actively seeking, but a little while before we met, I gave it up. I said, okay, it's time to just relax and just enjoy my life. I started dancing. I started finding a groove that was just to connect with myself again.
Yes.
And just let it go. And so, having said that, I found out from my male friend at the time that Noel's girlfriend had a Watsu pool.
Oh,
and
I
that
love
she was
Watsu.
opening it up on Christmas Day, and I love warm water and movement like that.
So tell everyone a little bit about what Watsu, who aren't
Watsu
familiar.
is it's massage inside of warm water.
It's wonderful.
It's wonderful. I guess that's the best way
Yeah,
to.
I think that's great.
So anyway, so I said, and I'm Jewish, so I don't have a tradition for Christmas. It was just a relief that my daughter was with her father for the day.
Yes.
I had a day off, and I would go and have a Watsu in this lovely lady's house,
Yes.
and I spent the first 2 hours with her and a girlfriend of hers, neither of whom I knew. I found out later were good friends of yours. And we were just doing a Watsu and just really relaxing and enjoying and getting to know each other. So when Noel came to the party, it was kind of a surprise because there a man comes and he starts giving these pretty elaborate gifts to the lady of the house, which wouldn't be the kind of gifts that you would give just to a casual friend.
Right.
So it's like, okay, there's something here going on, which I didn't know what it was,
Okay.
but there was something.
Okay.
And then he started kind of interviewing me and asking me questions. And of course, my hair is wet from the Watsu. I'm like, no makeup, no frontal
Yeah, none of all of the
presentation.
all of the stuff that we think we need, right?
Right. But the reason he was interviewing me because we come from very different parts of the world, basically across the ocean, across many contrasts in our lives, and so he was good at asking questions, and all of a sudden I find myself talking about my childhood, about what it was like to grow up in Israel and a kibbutz, and, and
wow.
to this stranger I've never met before. So it was like a long interview, but that was the backdrop of my arrival there.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love this. I love this other side of this. Because now, we didn't know that you were, as we would say, indisposed, right? Or certainly not all of the stuff.
Right.
That certainly a lot of women,
I did wear my mask.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so to me, that just allowed him to probably see that much clearer and hear that much clearer into who you are, because there wasn't all of the facade, so to speak, and all of the mask and the things that we think is what makes us beautiful. So I think that's so beautiful. So I want to do one more little break, and when we come back, I want to hear a little more now about the actual coming together and being in relationship and seeing how those initial sparks have now created this lovely relationship that you've had and are sharing and enjoying, and what you can share with others to have the same. So we'll be back right after this.
This episode was sponsored by Soul Purpose Branding. Put your soul into your brand. Get your business on purpose. With Sabine Messner, the wizard of Soul Purpose Branding. soulpurposebranding.com.
And we are back talking with Hani and Noel about their experience coming together, meeting those initial sparks, and now seeing how they are, how long it has been, and what are some of the beautiful things you've experienced along the way. So how long have you now been together?
9 years.
9 years. That's phenomenal. And this was all from that initial meeting.
Yes.
And for you, you said really there was just such a knowing that this is the woman for you?
Yes, it was clear for me right from the beginning. And as I mentioned, I had no idea how I was going to work it out. And so I didn't struggle with that.
Right.
I allowed it to just happen on its own.
And you took the steps, though, but very calmly and freely
Yes,
to get that connection, make the connection.
yes.
Beautiful.
And the way it has been, in that 9 years, we have probably not spent more than 2 weeks separate.
Wow.
We have spent every day together.
Wow.
And that has been a true gift for me, and I believe for Hani
Oh, yeah.
also.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Actually enjoy each other's company.
What a great idea, right? Like, you know, you hear a lot of these people, and obviously, you know, different things for different people, but, you know, you hear so many people, like, they feel that the success of their marriage or their relationship is actually having lots of time apart from their loved one. And so it's so beautiful to hear that the two of you actually enjoy each other's company. What do you feel helps that enjoyment? What do you feel helps you two to actually keep enjoying, you know, each other 9 years later? What are some of the things you do together?
I think the essence of it and what makes it work so easily and move so smoothly is we both practice authenticity. And from the space of authenticity, relationships actually are easy. Because we have set an example, even though it was not our intention for our relationship to become an example for family and friends,
Right.
it has in fact become that.
Sure.
And the question has come up exactly how we do it.
Yeah.
It's difficult to put into words because it flows with such ease. I think that it has a lot to do with the fact that we had significant relationship experience prior to coming together.
Yes.
I think that's a really large piece of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so there's a daily appreciation for each other and for this really unique relationship.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's really, really great. What do you feel or believe makes it so unique?
Oh, there are a lot of things that make it unique. What stands out, though, is the cultural difference. And there's an age difference also.
Yes.
And none of that matters. It
Right.
never did.
Yeah.
But we sometimes talk about how remarkable it is that we came together from such a separation in terms of distance,
Right.
and also some separation in time. We laugh because when I was in the Navy, Hani was 3 years old.
So we said if our paths would cross then, it wouldn't have happened.
Not quite so much, right? So timing is a thing, right?
Yes.
Beautiful. I think that's really, really well said. And I love just, you can even hear as you recount this, the ease and the peace that happens for the two of you. You feel the same?
Yeah, I think it has to do with the fact that both of us are, I want to say practitioners, but we've both been seekers, and we work our personal stuff on our own. We have really good tools, each one of us, from our own background and long
Practices.
history.
Yes.
So when we come together, it's clean. There's none of the, if there is baggage, we each one of us individually works it, and we can count on each other to take care of ourselves.
Yes.
And so there's no tripping involved when you do your own work.
So
you know,
awesome.
So
That's really, really
yeah,
phenomenal.
and you know, I also, for the third time is a charm. It's nice to have a situation where you've had a different experience before, and so you know what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know how to be alone. You're not afraid of that.
That's really, really key. I think that's huge for a lot of people, because I think we stay in relationships out of fear of being alone. I think a lot of people stay in relationships out of that. I know for me, I did for many years. I didn't realize that's what it was, but that's what it was when I really kind of got down to the core of it. That was underneath, and I had to go, well, wait a minute, you know, get back to enjoying me and, you know, myself and having my own life and fullness. And then, because that was the very thing I was asking, you know, of my other half, it's like, okay, you know, let's each be our own full individual, doing our own work, and then we come together.
Yes.
And then it can be, I think, cleaner
Yes.
and much more authentic and intentional, because now there's so much awareness with each person,
Yes.
would you say?
Yes.
So now, are there not, you know, this sounds amazing and phenomenal. I think it's kind of like idyllic, and many of us go, wow, I want that, right? Or how do I get that? Are there not times at all that you feel that, okay, there's a little skirmish here, there's a little energy coming up and going on? And if so, what do you do?
Fortunately, we've had so few. I would say that we've had fewer than 3 or 4 over a 9-year period.
Wow. Wow, that's
and
great.
we both appreciate that degree of harmony. As Hani mentioned, from coming from other marriages
Sure.
that lack the harmony,
Yes.
we fully appreciate harmony and really value it.
Yes, yes.
And when those few incidences have appeared, it has not been really difficult for each of us to take full responsibility. Hani will point out to me if I'm having some difficulty, she will point out to me that she's aware that I'm having some, and she actually expects me to work on it.
Nice.
And we do the work.
Yeah.
We have the tools, but we actually use them.
And having languaging to be able to say that. First, having the freedom to know that you can say, I'm noticing you're having a challenge or something like that, or I'm feeling such and such. And then the knowing that, okay, there's work to be done.
And that having said, I think that maybe because we're older, we're keeping it light.
Yeah.
In other words,
Yeah.
we don't deep dive into the problems.
Yeah.
And I know I'm a psychologist and I still say that.
Yeah.
Because the focus on the solution, the focus is on shifting and taking personal responsibility for my shift.
Right.
If I'm off.
Right.
And not pointing a finger and not doing the deep work and getting to the bottom of the problem. we lighten up about that.
Yeah, I think that's huge because I think somewhere along the way, either in therapy or counseling or something, there has been the message, you got to get in there and dig it out and weed out it. And it's not to say each of us individually don't do our work and to achieve that goal,
Yes.
to release and lessen and so forth. But together as a couple, feeling like there has to be this, long hours until wee hours of the morning, working through and digging.
It doesn't work.
Not so much,
It
huh?
doesn't. It doesn't.
I don't think so either. I think that's actually been the problem.
Taking a
Doing
break
that.
from the problem, taking time to go back to your personal balance.
Yes.
Focusing again on what you want rather than on what you don't want.
Yes.
All those things they sound light, but they work.
Well,
It's better.
Yeah, for me, the word that just is coming from the two of you so much is just ease. Ease, and kind of sticking with that energy as much as possible. Yeah, releasing some of the other stuff, or doing your own work around that, so you can come back and ease together. Yeah, beautiful. I'm going to ask one more question, and then we'll take a little break. But I want you to kind of be thinking about this. Do you consider each other soulmates? And if so, how do you define that? So we'll come back and find out their answer right after this.
This episode was sponsored by Soul Purpose Branding. Put your soul into your brand. Get your business on purpose. With Sabine Messner, the wizard of Soul Purpose Branding. soulpurposebranding.com.
Okay, so I would love to hear, how do you define soulmate? And do you see each other as that? Hani.
Oh, starting with me.
Yes.
Bypassing the word, I would say that across the oceans and the races and the cultures
And
that
the
we
age.
had to cross to come together, on a soul level, we recognize each other very easily, and there is a great depth to that, and that's a wonderful feeling.
It's a true gift.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is, and it's when we first met, I used to say we found that vein of gold. We just got that nugget, and it's like just stay on that vein. But it does take being deep to recognize it,
I agree.
and it's it is recognizing the gift that makes a difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
Beautifully said. And Noel?
I'm actually not sure what the term soulmate means. I've heard a few definitions. What resonates for me is not that there would be one singular soulmate. I'm drawn to the idea that it's possible that the women that I was married to previous to the marriage with Hani were also soulmates, because they gave me a great gift.
Yeah.
It might have been somewhat of a backwards gift, and consciously they were not aware of how much they were actually assisting me.
Sure.
But because I owe them such gratitude for what I learned from them, I consider them at least a possibility of being my soulmates also.
Beautiful. And you say also, so that certainly would include.
Oh, very definitely.
Excellent. I am so grateful to both of you for coming and sharing your story today. And really, I've learned quite a bit myself, and I hope all of the rest of our folks have learned something today that they can take with them. So thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us.
Absolutely. And thank you. We'll be right back. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for being with us today on our show. I really hope that there was something shared that really helps you shine your biggest and brightest light. Please stop by again, like us on Facebook, tweet us, all of those good things. And most importantly, please always remember, it's all about love.